to the Excitable Gentleman, a podcast where when we do record, we talk about all things in the manner of movies,
Games,
TV,
music,
games,
a little bit of razzle dazzle.
and truly anything else that we feel like talking about or have
Whatever tickles our fancy.
a cranky opinion about, quite
Yeah.
possibly. I'm Brandon.
I'm Denard.
Indeed.
Word.
So just to preface this, we have no plan whatsoever, really.
Nah, we're
To
winging it.
call it an outline would be, frankly, offensive to the word. At least respectful to the word outline. But yeah, got some, I don't know, slight game chattery, and then also a spoiler-filled, because believe me, you don't want to see it anyway. At least
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, Dark Phoenix review. And I, again, like I said before, I could talk about it for a while or for 3 seconds. I mean, it really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
I'll tell you this. I actually gave a full 15-minute, straight on review for my Uber driver in the car.
Really?
Yeah, she was that curious about it.
But by the way, she's probably curious in a way of, how was that? But not in a way of, let me know because I really want to see it, right?
No, she actually was like, I was planning on going to go see
Really?
it tomorrow. And she was like, I don't know if, she's like, my husband said he doesn't want to go, but I'm thinking it's going to be good. So, and I was like,
And you're like, let me
let me save you that 20.
let me get you out of this car wreck. So let me just let me save you money.
Yeah, although the heated seats were nice. So
And this was North Carolina, right?
yeah,
It's one of those things. Honestly, for whatever reason, it never occurred to me that heated seats would be a thing that could be, it makes, as an option because it just never occurred to me. But I feel like I'm not against maybe having some toasty buns during a movie.
just saying, they had the AC cranked up. It was a little cold up top. Didn't have no cardigan, no sweater,
Yeah.
nothing. But boom, the booty cheeks, bam,
You know
nice
what?
and warm.
My damn near conspiratorial mind thinks they're doing everything they can to make us fall asleep.
Yeah.
It really feels like
Just
it.
so you could buy another ticket.
Yeah, and then a part of me is like, do they want more tickets, or is it they're like, what we're gonna do? We're gonna allow everyone to just fall asleep in the theater, and then we're not even gonna play the movie, and we'll save electricity, and they'll just be sleeping for an hour and a half.
A power outage happened.
Yeah, exactly. They're like,
Yeah.
how was the movie? I don't remember, but I had a hell of a power nap.
It's like, man, that's the best sleep I've had all week.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, some gaming shit.
Yeah, gaming stuff first. Prior to pressing the record button,
Yeah.
you mentioned you can review Anthem because you are quote unquote done with it.
Yeah, I'm finally finished. So, out of, we'll just say 10,
Sure.
it's going to get a solid 2.5.
It's pretty bad. So, predominantly, why?
So, of course, we all saw anybody that's played it realized everything that we saw in E3 wasn't what we got in the game. Then when the whole Kotaku article came out.
Yeah, and we talked about that either last episode or the episode before that, where it was, an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah, it was a clusterfuck.
It was a very long read for a not good reason.
Yeah, and they essentially sum it all up. They got money for it 7 years ago. They just sat on their ass, and then when EA came and was like, "Hey, what do you got?" They just threw some shit together in 3 months.
Yeah, it almost feels like that. Like, what do you got? And they're like, fuck, like that,
Yeah.
as if they forgot about it. Like it was like a school project, and like, shit, it's due tomorrow.
Yeah, well,
Now take that
That's what we got.
and millions of dollars and infrastructure and multiple campuses across 2 countries
yeah,
working on it.
and that's essentially what we got. And like I said, I think my initial review was like a 4.5 or maybe a 5. That it was bad, but it had potential.
It wasn't good with the possibility of that score going up. Maybe it's just a matter of you need to play it more,
Yeah,
get deeper into it.
It was waiting on updates and some other things.
That's right.
But then, like I said, after the Kotaku article came out, and then that's where they essentially cut their timeline. So anything that was supposed to be an update just got knocked out the plan. It was like, okay, we're just going to do bug fixes. Thing is, though, I played it for the last week and a half. The bug fixes still haven't fixed anything. So it's still crashing in the same areas. You still don't get any more loot. The only thing they've added was one mission that nobody plays because it's faster and you get more loot from the other mission that they initially gave you in the game. And
So basically, they're making things they created obsolete? Because it just sounds like, by the way, it sounds everything the article represented, which is just kind of manic chaos.
It is, and it's one of those things where they haven't listened to anything that any of their player base have said, and it's one of those. It's too little, too late because now there's only like maybe on Twitch there are 6 streamers right now that are streaming Anthem, and there are only about 40 views, and that's daily.
I have a question about that. So, is it? I know that it's almost like the equivalent of like in TV of like something going syndicated or something that a giant goal now on some level or hope is that a game will, for example, become played in professional leagues, right? Like that it becomes part of that firmament to where it kind of acts as a kingmaker for a game. Isn't that true, right?
For some.
For some, sure.
Yeah.
And some in certain genres just automatically lend itself to that, but it still doesn't mean you're part of that canon, so to speak, because your game still has to be good or has to kind of permeate the cultural zeitgeist. But my question is are Twitch streams also a major consideration or a hope as well?
It's kind of a not really even a hope or anything like that. It's more
they're not creating it with that in mind.
It's more like a quantifying thing now.
Okay, fair enough.
Where it's not actually saying anything because Twitch is just free. It's anybody can play it and stream at any point in time. But when you have so many channels,
yes,
and you have so many views at a current hour, like
sure,
like if you don't watch it now, you pull up Twitch, you'll see like Fortnite is going to be like number 1 because Fortnite is. Yeah, remember it's a free-to-play game. Anybody can get it. You don't have to pay a single dime unless you want to get cosmetics or anything like that. And kids love it. So,
and it's
you're gonna sit
truly
there,
a phenomenon.
Yeah, and if you want to get paid on Twitch, you have to have views. So you're gonna play the game that's most popular that everybody wants to see. So games like Destiny, games like Fortnite, Division 2, all the top AAA games right now are those games that everybody wants to see because some people don't want to pay $60 right out the gate for a game that, like Anthem, came out and was nowhere near finished. And then some people are like, well, hey, I don't have the time. Like me, I don't have the time to play some of these games. So I'll actually just sit there and watch them on YouTube just so I can see what happens.
No, and that's fair. I know that. And plus, it's like it's almost like a passive way of renting a game. Like, what is this all about? Do I think I want to play this? Is this so cool? And because if it is an upfront fee, for example, meaning $60, that there are so many games out now, and again, to your point, so many games that are free to buy, and then they have all the built-in fees and things. Yeah. That's a consideration, and the freeness of it out the box will get you eyes on that game immediately. Well, I mean, it's smart.
Like, when you only there aren't any more rentals. Like, the only thing you can rent from is like Redbox or GameFly. And not many people use either one of those.
Sure.
So the other thing you can use is like maybe the Xbox Game Pass, which I have that. I'll tell you the truth, I don't even fucking use it. Like there's not a single game on there that I actually really sit down and play. Yeah. I have it just because if I want to play Gears 4.
Or like EA Access is a thing too, right?
Yeah. Like Gears 5 is going to be coming out. I hadn't played a single Gears game in my life. But when Gears 5 comes out, I'm going to download it the first night and just play that bitch just because I have it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, just because. Yeah. I have
same with Netflix. I've watched so much shit that I wouldn't have ever otherwise.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, it's here, I got it, why not?
And, they're doing all these things now where you can combine all this stuff to make it cheaper. So it's like, fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and have it just to have it. So since there isn't anything to rent anymore, it's like I have to watch a review to know because I can't spend, like I said, I'm a grown man. I got bills. I can't just sit here and spend like $60 on 10 games that came out this month just to see if they're pretty good or not. It's like, no, I got to spend my money wisely.
And also, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be pissed off if a game sucks. Yeah. Because I've done that plenty of times too.
Because I'll tell you this, Google dude goes off in GameStop on YouTube. I wish I could tell you how many times you just see somebody trying to return a game and they're like, no, we can't do it. Because it happened to me before. I didn't flip out. I was just so distraught with the game. I was just like, fuck it. I don't care. Just give me store credit and do whatever. It's like, I just don't want it. It was Final Fantasy 13. Hated that bitch. It was terrible.
Fair enough.
Terrible. But yeah, Anthem. they didn't do anything with it. And then the whole big thing where their big leading event was supposed to be this thing called the Cataclysm, where it's supposed to be like this world-ending event that changed everything, kind of like World of Warcraft,
Sure.
where it was some big cataclysm event where like a dragon came, but the whole like world map changed, characters were
It's
different.
as if it's like the big bang of the game.
Yeah.
It's a true game
And-
changer, literally, figuratively.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be this huge thing. Well, now when they put it through the PTS that they finally put up, it's really just a blue filter in the free play area, and it's a timed event. And like, it's one of those things where we don't see anywhere any of the work you really went into it. You know, it's like we paid the $60 and we got really nothing.
So it feels like you're playing fast and loose with the money I gave you.
Yeah, it's like, where did my money go? Because I got nothing.
Well, and honestly, a part of me would be like, wow, I feel really underappreciated as a paying customer. Like that you don't even feel like you're supporting the thing that is A, new, and B, expensive.
Well, it's not just that, but they're not supporting their own game because they already mentioned that most of the development team has already moved on to Dragon Age 4. So when you already have, like, even though I don't even play it anymore, and I'm going to jump back because they made it free to play, but as much as I give them shit when Bungie had Destiny, Destiny 2 was shit when it came out. I hated it. Like, I really played it for like 5 hours, and I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it.
But at least they didn't have Dinklage's voice anymore, right?
I actually liked it.
Really?
Yeah.
Look, I never played it, but I know people were just like angry about it in a way that I never understood because I don't care. But
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
But like I said, it was terrible. But the thing is, though, they were committed to it. It wasn't anything where it was just like, okay, well, we know we didn't do this,
Sure.
and this, and we got to fix it. But we have this other game that's coming out in like another 2 years. So look forward to that. It was like, no, we fucked up.
Yeah.
We know we fucked up. We're sorry. So we're going to be committed to it. And as much shit as I give them, they have been committed.
I respect the hell out of that because I know
And-
that when I was looking at buying it initially when it first came out, and I was talking to the GameStop guy, funnily enough, and he was saying, "Oh no, they have plans of this running for years and years and years." Like with the thought of this game could be endless if we wanted to.
Now, well, that was the thing. That's where Destiny 2 pissed me off because that was the initial setup for Destiny 1.
Okay.
It was supposed to be a game that was supposed to go for 10 years. So it was supposed to be you had this character, you had this lore that followed behind you, all the guns and stuff that you carried grew along with you, and then Destiny 2 comes out.
So did you feel like Destiny 2 was them pulling the plug on 1?
It was.
Well, I mean, so okay, fair enough.
That-
But
I'm saying like nothing actually carried over from your character.
but to compare it to Anthem, it seems it sounds like it's very reminiscent because it sounds like they've already given up on
Well,
it.
no. See, that was the thing. Destiny came out terrible, but they kept going with it.
I know,
Anthem
and
started.
respect.
Yeah, Anthem
Yeah.
kept going, but they haven't done anything. So
Okay.
it's like they keep saying they've been completely quiet. They haven't talked to anyone out in the community. Like when you have people on Twitter, you have people on Twitch, you have people on YouTube asking you, hey, when are you guys going to put in this? When are you guys going to do something? And there's zero response. That's where you're like, okay, well, you've given up on it.
Say it feels like you've moved on.
Yeah. So now everyone else has moved on from the game. But they say they're still committed and they got things coming out. But it's like, well, who's going to be able to play it?
But
Because
also-
now the matchmaking is, they said now it takes about 4 hours to matchmake.
'Cause nobody's
for a
playing
game. Exactly. When you only got like 40 people to play the game.
But the worst part is that, especially in the gaming world, as you know, just as well as anybody else, that if people start abandoning it, then people start abandoning it even more because people are already abandoning it, and it becomes a thing where it's like this wasteland of a game.
I mean,
And as
don't
much as you
really
want to
have a
play it, you
choice.
still have to have people to play it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's Anthem. Like I said, it has to get a 2.5. It's the initial little bit you get to play is still kind of fun for what it is, but it's just that. It's like pretty much you play about an hour of the game, you play the game. So
That's a bummer.
yeah,
Honestly, in some ways, it almost feels like 2.5 is generous, a little bit.
like I said, I had
Because
fun.
you got something out of it.
I did. Like I said, I had fun, but like I said, that's 2.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
yeah.
Okay, then question. Nintendo Switch, you're going to buy one. Why? I say this, by the way, and I don't even mean that in a, it's lame, why would you buy it? I have one. I got one 1.5 2 years ago, and I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah. Man. I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna yell it, but we all know Smash. That's it. That's all I wanted for Smash Bros.
Fair enough.
But the one other thing they're doing, which PlayStation just announced they'll be jumping on board, but cross-platform play.
Yes.
We're talking off audio about
in the real world.
yeah, about games that like Anthem that you kind of invest your money into, and I said you got to be smart about which ones you do, because I jump into a couple of games that I've jumped in like pre-alphas and everything else where they were free to play, or you could buy into the initial game for like a lower cost. And like one of the games I played was Paladins, which is actually going to be on the Switch. So the only two games I really plan on playing is going to be Paladins, which is free to play.
What's the basic gist of that game?
If you ever played, so it is a MOBA shooter essentially. Where
what is MOBA?
Fuck, can't remember what the acronym is, but you ever played anything like League of Legends?
Sure.
Like I said, League of Legends, Dota, where there's a class. You have
okay.
Essentially kind of like an Overwatch, but you have specialty characters. So you have like
there's a hierarchical element to it.
Yeah.
I got you.
And the reason why I like that one actually is because it's like a deeper Overwatch, where you can customize your character for certain play styles. Where if you have two healers on your team, then I can make it so that I do extra damage and your healer can't.
Because you can emphasize different forms of power.
Exactly.
It actually gives you autonomy over and more control over the gaming experience.
And there's more strategy into it, because I actually play it competitively. So and there's actually like just like there's an Overwatch league, like there's actually a Paladin league. It's on a way smaller scale, but it's just something I actually like to play. And the fact that they have it on Switch, because I actually play with a couple of guys they play on Switch.
On Switch.
One guy plays on PC and I play on Xbox.
So that portability factor is big for you.
Yeah, so I can literally go to work,
yes,
go on my lunch hour, and if I'm bored and I've done with lunch, I was like, fuck
it. It allows you to put the reps in, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, so if I decide I really want to play competitively, I can actually play competitively wherever the fuck I am. So
fair. That makes complete sense. I will say, by the way, I don't know if you were ever into it that much, but the Zelda Breath of the Wild is truly incredible. It's an all-time game.
I'm a Zelda fan. Now, I'm not going to lie. I was annoyed because I played a little bit of it.
Sure.
The weapon damage over time, how you can lose your weapons, that annoys me. I don't care.
I get why it does, but they're everywhere.
Yeah, it just bugs me.
I know.
Now,
and it did before I even played it. I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
But it's
not bad enough where I'm like, this game is terrible, I'm never going to play it. It's just, I don't care for it. But, okay, the game is still beautiful. It's still fun.
It's so good. And it truly is, I don't know how rare it is anymore, but it feels relatively rare. That truly is anything you see in the background, you can go to.
Yeah.
And that is so cool.
And that's the thing. I'll tell you, I don't really play Nintendo games that often. Like, I just don't really care for, like, I don't care to play like Mario games that often. I'll still play Mario Kart when there's a group of people to play with, but like on my own.
It's a great party game, but yeah, it's definitely not one I'm like sitting around just playing it by myself.
Yeah, like most Nintendo games just don't call for me in any way. So that's why I never got I got the Wii U for Taylor. She never played it. I never played it. I had a Game Boy, one of the ones with the dual screens. I never played it. She never played it. He sold that bitch.
Yeah, in terms of the actual quote unquote Nintendo games, there aren't a ton that I'm like built in to where yes that. However, like Mario Odyssey is a hell of a game. So that I did play, but then again that did have a goal and a lot, and it was complicated. And by the way, Breath of the Wild is extremely complicated in a great, interesting, immersive way. I love it.
The thing is, on Nintendo, while they don't make games that are for me all the time,
sure,
they innovate with their own games. Because, like I said, as much as I don't care for like the Mario games now, I like that every game has, and people will say it has a new gimmick, but every gimmick is at least something different, and it's something that can be, it makes you look at the game in a different way.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And by the way, they are never complacent creatively at all, and which is more than so. They take chances when, frankly, they know they can phone it in and people would still buy it, but they don't. And I respect the hell out of that.
And you got to think like in Breath of the Wild, you can literally just start the game and go to the boss. And if you got the
100%.
skill, you can beat the motherfucker. But
You know what it is too. I hadn't thought about it like this, but I like the fact that you control your money. Meaning you control the value, you control your experience, and how far your $60 or whatever goes, and it can give you flexibility in terms of what you're looking for.
Well, it was one of those things where they literally just said it's an open world game.
Yes.
And there's not many open world games where it's literally just like Skyrim. Skyrim was open world. It was just fuck it. If you feel like walking in 3 hours, you can go to the end of the map and go see a fucking dragon and go try to kill it. Zelda's the same way. It's just like, all right, well, I can fly off and go try to fight Ganon or whoever the final boss is, or I can go be a chef for 60 hours of gameplay.
And I for one, I love that.
Yeah, and it was just like they literally just said it's open world. Just do what you want to do. The story's there. All you have to do is go find it. It's like we're gonna tell you where it is, but if you don't feel like going to go play the story, don't go play the story.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it. I'm still playing it now, and I don't play it as often as I did, but it's truly massive. It is massive, and not even in a way that's like intimidating. Because it's such a good game and it's so well executed that it's exciting to know that I can play it for years more if I wanted to.
Yeah. Now I haven't heard anything actually about it, but I'm looking forward to the was it Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening and then Breath of the Wild 2.
Breath of the Wild 2, yeah, which they just announced at E3.
Yeah.
And that was because I don't, like I said, I mean, if it's not patently obvious from what we've been talking about, I don't really keep up to date on game stuff a lot. I just I'm definitely far more than I am with film and like TV. I am definitely way more of a tourist when it comes to gaming. And I have the things I like, but from what I can tell, the Breath of the Wild 2 announcement was very unexpected.
Yeah,
and people lost their shit over it, and rightfully so.
Because they don't make Zelda games like that.
Okay.
Yeah, Zelda games
I get
don't
you.
come out. Yeah, when you get a Zelda game, it's all right. We got a Zelda game. Well, fuck it. I guess we're waiting another 6 years.
Fair enough. They're so infrequent that people never would have expected it to be this, let alone this so soon.
Exactly.
That makes total sense.
And then you got to think about as much, because when the game first came out, you got to remember it came out on the Wii U also. So a lot of people were like, well, the game's going to be terrible because they were trying to develop on both systems, and it was fucking amazing. So now it's like, well, damn, they must have been working on this at the same time. As like, if they put as much craftsmanship as they did in the first game,
yes.
then that means that this game must be on par or better. So it's like, and nobody was expecting it. Like, Breath of the Wild just came out, 2 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like,
look, I didn't expect it, but like I said, I'm not tuned in, so I don't
yeah,
I don't have expectations either way.
It was a launch title.
Yeah.
So it's a launch title for a game system, and boom, right out the gate. All right, y'all got another one. And like I said, if it's on par with the other one, like you said you were going to be playing it for years.
Oh,
you could.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, hell, I got this one. I can jump on this whenever I feel like it.
No shit. I can't speak highly enough of it. I love it, truly.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, like I said, there'll be some games I get for it, but primarily I want to play Smash.
No, and that's fair. And by the way, it's I don't know if it's that we live in a time where this isn't the case, or maybe it's just me, but I don't think the worthiness of buying a certain console is dictated by how many games you play on it.
No, not at all. Like I said,
because that's what people knock on with like Nintendo and like the Wii, or the Switch, is that people are like, but there aren't a ton of games I want to play for it. But that's cool. But the games I love.
Yeah, because that was the other thing, the Pokemon game. I said, fuck it, I'm getting back into Pokemon.
Oh, I'm cool with that.
That's
dude.
the only reason I haven't, because I got tired of buying Game Boys. So I was like, screw it. But
dude, I have the yellow cartridge right over there.
I still have my blue and red 1,000.
I haven't played a Pokemon game in a while, but probably since that one, honestly.
I would say, not counting Pokemon Go, I can tell you.
I mean, that's what I mean, video game wise.
The last one I played was Pokemon Silver.
Yes. And honestly, I kind of really want that little that little hit of nostalgia straight to the veins.
I do. I miss it.
I know, I
like
do too.
when the song comes on, like when my cousins are playing it, I get excited.
Well,
Like,
and
still
Detective
love it.
Pikachu got me hyped for it again.
I still haven't seen it.
Dude, I enjoyed it a lot. It is. I said this to Marshall, and he was confused by it because I think he's just a little more literal. But what I was saying was, it is so much better than it had any need to be. Meaning, it's so much better than it needed to be to scratch the itch of what people want in that movie, and it's fun.
Pretty much, it was a kids movie, and they could have just made it just like your average ass kids movie, but instead they actually put like some dedication to, like they made
Dude,
it.
they
what
film
it
it like a neo noir.
Yeah,
and it's almost like it's, hey, what would Blade Runner Pikachu edition look like? It's got a little bit of that vibe, you know. At times with like some shadows and neon everywhere. At times, it's actually really cool.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I heard there was something in there too about how it connects to the original Pokemon movie or something like that.
I heard something about that, but I don't know enough about that movie to make the connection. But I appreciate what they did.
Now,
it's a good. I legit liked it a lot.
I mean, I wanted to see it to begin with.
Yes,
but
it was fun, and they gave, by the way, Pokemon card packets.
God damn it!
When you bought your tickets.
I hope they still have some.
I think Heather still has mine, so I think and they gave us. You know, it was at our local cinema, and they gave them to us like, just fucking take them. You know, as if like, we have all these back here, we need to give them away, just take some. And they gave like 5 packs.
Yeah, I forgot that they usually have like extra everything.
They gave us like 5 packs.
Yeah, I'll be going to go get some. But hell, since we're already on movies,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we saw Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Which is the well, first of all, the conclusion of the Fox version of X-Men as we know it.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Blessed Jesus.
But technically, this is the 12th movie, if you count anything that is technically X-Men related, meaning including the last two Deadpool movies and Logan.
Yeah, I was saying Wolverines.
So it's everything from 2000 X-Men all the way up to Dark Phoenix. It's 12 movies over 19 years.
Yeah. And I must say,
which is like, and it's, by the way, the definition of the law of diminishing returns.
Sweet Jesus. First off, just to begin with,
yes.
I just did not understand why they were doing the Dark Phoenix over again. Like,
yeah,
you know, it didn't make sense to me. I was like, you know, you didn't really need to. You didn't establish none of this shit to begin with. Just, boop, it's over with.
I don't understand what made them think like, hey, this Dark Phoenix thing that clearly we're aware of because we're making this movie, let's do it all in a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. From
the beginning to from the origin of it, how she becomes that, to the end. Let's do it. To me, you know what that is? That's like doing a Lord of the Rings movie of all books in 2 hours. Like it takes more nuance and care and kind of complicated structuring of a movie, I think.
Yeah.
And they shot their wad in 1 hour and 54 minutes. But it was a disastrous post-production process.
Yeah, it was just... You're right. It was one of those things where you can't cover the Dark Phoenix in 2 hours. You can't...
You sure as hell shouldn't.
It should have been a part 1 and part 2 at minimum.
Yes.
Just like they did just like they did essentially Endgame. That's how this should have been. It should have been what caused her to become the Phoenix, and then when she's the fucking Phoenix.
See, and I think your analogy is sound instead of part 1, part 2, especially with that. With the massive difference being 22 movies truly all leading to that moment versus them making a 1 hour and 54 minute movie that was creating the moment and then resolving it all in that time.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
And like I said, I'll just be truthful about it. The only X-Men movies I like, and this is, well, we'll go.
Okay, which ones do you think are not even good X-Men movies? I'm just saying movies you like of the 12.
X-Men 1.
Okay.
X-Men 2 is okay.
That's the one that's considered the best of Singer's movies generally. Not that it means anything. I'm just giving context.
I think it's okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
Now you love X-Men Last Stand, I know. I'm kidding.
Let's see. Deadpool 1, 2. and Logan. That's it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Everything else, dumpster fire. You can throw it the fuck away. And I don't care what anybody says. Days of Future Past was garbage, and so was fucking First Class. Like,
You know what? I will say that when I first saw First Class, I liked it quite a bit, but in a weird, I don't know what it is about it exactly, but since I've seen it, it has not aged well.
I'll tell you what the fuck it was. They killed the character you can't kill. All right, they made him black. God damn it! How you gonna kill the one motherfucker you can't die? Like that right there was done.
The dude who died in the first hour of the movie.
Yes. Like literally, his power is you can't kill him.
So their answer to your question is how you can kill him pretty easily.
Like just give it to them. I was like, fuck it. All right, I'm out.
It did feel almost like they were like it had the horror trope of the black guy dies first.
Yes.
And,
Like that was literally it. I'm just like, are y'all motherfuckers for real? Like, no. As soon as that happened, I checked out of the movie. Like I was like, all right, I'm out. And I was having fun.
yeah.
And just then the next movie, they got rid of characters for no reason. You know, I said half of them were just killed off, no real explanation. And this one, it seemed like they made a lot of like. It seemed like there was a lot of story that was cut out.
Okay, so do you want to talk about the ending and how different it is?
Not yet.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Because I got that info.
Yeah, but well, that was like I just noticed in the beginning of the movie, it seemed like there were relationships that were, I guess, were formed from between Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, but in the movie they never established like kind of like how Storm was like ride or die for everybody, but they never really kind of like I never understood why was she like that when last movie she was the enemy, and granted she jumped on their side in the end, but it was one of those things where like they're a family now. And I don't know what happened to get them there.
You know, by the way, that's a great point. Which is funny because that's not even the part that they completely changed after filming. You know what I mean? Like that, meaning that's what they were looking for all along.
Yeah.
And so there was truly a disconnectedness to that, which is interesting because, by the way, like Bryan Singer made the Apocalypse, for example, and then. This is a new director/writer, Simon Kinberg. It almost makes me wonder. In a way, it felt like, no, this is my story. I'm taking this story back over, as if like they didn't acknowledge some of the shit from Apocalypse. To your point of like not establishing what happened in between.
Well, that was the thing they did part of it because in the beginning of the movie, when so the initial startup was when you see what happens to Jean, and.
Yes.
You find out that she ends up losing control of her powers, and her mother was driving. Car accident happens, and both her parents are dead.
Yeah.
So Xavier comes in, and just like he usually does, he's like, "Hey, I got a home for you." And
not just that, I can fix you.
Yeah, well, he let her know it's like, well, that was the thing. You don't need to be fixed. He said there was nothing wrong with you because you're not broken. And he gave her a home. It was like, you are special. And I'm going to show you why you're special. So.
Okay, then I have a question about that then later.
All right.
About you're saying he doesn't want to fix her.
Yes.
But he does.
But he doesn't because but that was the thing. And this is where I say I had a problem with the movie and where they did it because they're going to make Xavier essentially the villain.
Yeah, and it's very. They seem to be playing to the like the Machiavelli quote of "power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely."
Yeah, it's kind of like that, and then like. So.
But they didn't. But again, by the way, they didn't develop that at all either.
No.
None of this movie is very undercooked.
And that was it. It was like we didn't get those scenes where
nothing in this movie was owned.
Yeah,
earned. Nothing.
Yeah, but the president calls. Challenger goes up, is about to blow.
We need
X-Men
you.
Goes. Yeah, so the X-Men go up there, and this is where, that's where you remember you said like there was a disconnect between the movies, and it's like they didn't want to acknowledge it. This is part of it because you remember they had the whole Phoenix thing.
Sure.
And they were saying that the Phoenix came because that whatever that energy was that actually blows up the shuttle. When Apocalypse, when she finally flames on and all the other bullshit, that's when the Phoenix pops up.
That's right. Okay. It's been and yes, I remember that.
That's where it's like, well, she was already the Phoenix then. She already had the power. She just didn't know what it was. Now in this movie, they're saying she didn't have it. it was some space entity that came finally or whatever. So that's where I was like, okay, we already like just like you said, we're just gonna say this other movie didn't really happen, but then you got characters and everything else that really did. So it's like, all right, either somebody wasn't paying attention, or we just want to like we're not gonna acknowledge it.
Or honestly, you consider this: Simon Kinberg has for most of these movies been a writer and producer on them, so it almost felt like he was taking his story back. Of like, no, this is how it should have been done, or this is how I want to do it.
And if it was, that's just as stupid. Like
it is, but everything about this 12-year run has been a fuck up in so many different ways.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's all terrible, but
it is.
You know, I was
and outside of Logan, which I think is legitimately good, but again, that's its own standalone thing.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't even qualify for the rest of these, which I'm glad that
it's a technical one.
Yeah, but that was the thing. When she got back down, and she starts going crazy pants and everything else. Spoiler alert, whoop-de-whoop, Mystique dies, Jennifer Lawrence. Which, that part was just kind of like, all right, you knew it was coming. She didn't want to be in the movies anymore. They had to get rid of her somehow.
But they did it in such a way, it was like the moment was like, oh shit, this is serious. She really is got power. And anyone can die. I think really it boils down to Jennifer Lawrence is like, look, I'm tired of this character. Please, like, do I have to be in all this movie? And they're like, no, we'll kill you in the first act.
I mean, that's literally what it was. She didn't want to do the movies. You could tell because her acting has been terrible in pretty much all of them from my standing. And she says she was tired of all the prosthetics and everything else. So that's why, like, she might have changed to a human form, like, once in this movie.
Yeah.
And then they just killed her off because she didn't want to do all the prosthetic stuff. Well,
yeah. And also, by the way, since we're technically chronologically past this point of the heavy-handed line of X-Men, the way all the women have to save the day, it should be called X-Women.
Yeah, and that was...
And I'm like, that felt like such a shoehorned-in girl power moment.
It was, but it was done in such a bad way because I told you before, like, Captain Marvel had the same scene where, I said before, where Carol is standing up and they're talking about how you have to get up, but she's all of her, like, standing with her hand on her hip, like, you know, in the Superwoman pose. And that was where I was like, it's ham-fisted, like, at you. Yeah, but at the same time, where the movie was leading it to, it makes sense.
Yes.
But this one was just, the girl saved the day, and I'm just like, well, it's been twice, and like the only ones that really saved the day has been Jean. It's like, okay, it's the thing where it's like they're actually pandering, 100%. But they don't have anything to. It's one of those things like if I wanted them to at least back it up somehow.
That's what I mean. See, here's the thing. Like I'm all about that moment happening in a movie, in that movie. But if you're doing it to where it's almost as if you are like, okay, we have that one line, so we earn that. You know, like, no. It felt like you were checking a box. None of that was organic to the story. None of it was, to your point, backed up by the story. It just felt like a girl power moment, and it just, I want that moment to happen, but it felt unearned in every way.
And it's that thing where, it's that thing in representation where I keep saying about, like, black characters, where, like, as much as I appreciate the Miles Moraleses and everything else, like, there are other black characters that aren't just, you know, another version of something else. And this was kind of one of those situations where we already know what the fuck X-Men is. But the thing is, there are a group of just female-led groups where that's it. There's Storm led the fucking X-Men for a long-ass fucking time. So it's like, why do you need to throw this in there? Because the whole big thing with Endgame, or whatever the last Avengers movie was. Yeah, Endgame. Was when all the women got together with just Spider-Man in the background. And that was literally A-Force. And it's an all-female version of Avengers.
And it was such a great moment.
And I was like, in my mind, I was excited because I was like, fuck, that's A-Force. That's just some cold-ass shit right there. I'm excited to see this. This was one of those things like, it should have been X-Women. And then they just walk out the room. It was like, okay, I guess we got the joke, but you don't have anything to like really stand behind it.
Here's the thing: you're not creating a girl power moment. You're undermining others.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's a detriment, not a help.
Yeah,
and so that I don't like, because to your point, that you could organically That could be a moment. That could be organically done.
The thing is, you could have had it where towards the end of the movie when there's a big battle go down that, number one, there's only a couple of women in the X-Men as it is. So it's like you could have had it where it might have been just the 3 X-women.
Sure.
If they were there, they were the ones last standing. And then it could have been, a whole little joke at the end that somebody was like, hey, the X-women saved the day or something. That would have been fine.
They weren't in any way committed to it.
Yeah.
It was truly just a line of dialogue.
Yeah. Like I said, they didn't have any actual stance or anything. It was just, well, let's throw this in there just to have it.
But yeah, and it felt like, all right, we got that one done. What's next?
Yeah. And that was the thing where after the whole, she finally becomes the Phoenix, she starts to learn about some mental blocks that were put into her head. And then she finds out the truth about the accident and what happened to her family. And that was a part that bugged me. Like, because the whole time they're going
because he was fixing her.
Well, no, that was the thing. And everybody keeps saying he was. And I'm going to just point blank ask you, because here's the thing.
Okay.
And the spoiler is that she didn't kill her. Well, her dad didn't die. Yeah. She didn't know that she killed her mom. Well, she kind of knew, but she didn't know exactly what happened. Mom died. Dad was still alive and said that he didn't want her anymore. Mm-hmm. That she was a monster, and that was it. And Xavier said, I'll take her. I have a home for her. I know what to do. She is different.
So he's protecting her, not fixing her. Is that what you're saying?
He was nurturing her. He was raising her. That's the thing. I said, and he put a mental block in her head so that she didn't know that her dad was still alive, that her dad didn't want her. And when Jennifer Lawrence and everybody else find out when they're looking through Cerebro with him, and he has this look of shame, and it's like, what? Mind you, she was 8 years old when it happened. So, and I'm going to just ask you, just generally, if you have an 8-year-old girl who can, at the just whim of just at the drop of a hat, crush this whole entire house with nothing but just the blink of her eye.
And vaporize people if need be.
Yes. Like I said, if she was just upset.
Sure.
Would you tell her that you killed your mom and that your dad wants nothing to do with you because he thinks you're a monster, to a little 8-year-old girl that just realized that she already killed her mom? It's like he did the one thing that he needed to do was, you know what? Your dad doesn't want you, so I'm not going to say that he doesn't want you, that you're broken.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that they're gone because he doesn't want you, but I do. I'll take care of you because I understand what you need. I understand the person that you are. And that's what he told her. You don't need to be fixed. There's nothing wrong with you. You're special just as you are.
Okay, well, my response is this is a very classic. Well, when you put it like that. I know, and fair enough. It makes sense. But here's my question. Is my not understanding it me being thick-headed, which is very possible, or is it bad filmmaking?
That one's on you.
That's fair.
Because they literally spell it out right at the very beginning.
You know what? I'll take it.
That's like, because that initial scene where they're out in front of the X-Mansion, that's literally the whole exact line of dialogue was, she said, I'm broken. I need to be fixed. I can't be fixed. And that's where he said, you don't need to be fixed because you're not broken.
And that's why I led with thick-headed of the two.
So.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough.
But now, even then, though, how does that make him the villain? Like, I get it. Yes, he lied to a little girl, but he lied to her because I'm not going to tell a baby that you're the reason why your parents are dead and that your daddy don't want you no more. That, for all intents and purposes, you're a fucking orphan, bitch, just because nobody wants you.
But yeah, you know what? To your point, they didn't have the moment, though, of where they reveal later of why. Like the thing of like, oh, okay, he's not really the villain. They do the rope-a-dope stuff in movies where it's like, oh, they're the bad guy, but it's like Snape in Harry Potter. It's like, oh, no, he's been good all along.
But see, that was the thing, though. They already knew. Jennifer Lawrence and everybody else, they all saw the same thing. Mm-hmm. They all saw the whole picture of, I don't want you. They were all in their memories.
I got you.
So that's what I'm saying is, they already had that moment in the head. They just never showed it to us.
Yeah.
They all saw everything that they saw. So that's where I'm like, why is he still so upset? Why is everyone so mad? Because I'm not going to do that. And they already see what kind of power
before.
And it's like, you already see what kind of power she fucking has now. It's like, I'm not going to give that to a fucking 8-year-old and let her destroy the fucking world. Like, no, I'm going to save her from herself. When she's ready, I'll let her know. It's like if she ever needs to fucking know. Because that's the thing. If your dad doesn't want you and I raised you, you're my child essentially. I'm gonna make sure you're okay. Fuck him. You don't need him. You've been fine without him. You don't need him now, and he still doesn't want you. It's like, why go through that pain?
Fair enough.
Why put her through that? So, like I said, that was the whole thing. I was like, I don't understand any of this motivation. Like, it was just, it just didn't make any sense.
I know, and that makes sense. Your points. Okay, the ending though. So the original ending. Again, they had to change the entire thing, third act entirely. Entire third act for the movie after the fact, after shooting everything. So the initial ending would have been kind of a hybrid of Captain America Civil War and Captain Marvel. Which is to say, and I haven't read this part, but I think I know what it would have been. It would have been two warring factions coming together to defeat a common enemy. Meaning it would have been Magneto and Professor X coming together to defeat Phoenix. That's what it would have been. And I think that part took place in space, from what I understand.
I mean, that wouldn't have been anything worse.
No. So the ending we got instead was...
I don't even... That's not even really like Captain Marvel for the most part.
Well, the Captain Marvel element is not really the story part. It's the fact that they were the Skrulls. And that's what the aliens were. Jessica Chastain's people. They were all Skrulls. They were
supposed to be.
But that's what they were. They were explicitly, definitively spoken Skrulls.
Yeah. In the back.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
To the point where they only say her name in the theatrical version, after they changed everything, they only say Jessica Chastain's name once, and that was done via ADR. So that's why you don't see much from her character, because all of it was about Skrulls and being aliens and that being a thing. And the reason they cut that out, all the Skrull stuff, is because in post-production around that time, or at least after just the initial shooting, the ruminations of Disney buying Fox came out. And so then Fox executives say, take out everything about Skrulls because we don't want to fuck our possible acquisition up. That's the thing. That's what I read.
I mean, it wouldn't have made a difference.
Exactly. But on top of that, too, that like Simon Kinberg, who was a first-time director, previously he was a producer and a writer on a lot of stuff, but a lot of X-Men stuff specifically. He said that he was going for a more quiet, smaller film, quote-unquote. Which, if you watch everything prior to even the third act,
I don't know what
nothing is small and nothing is quiet about it.
Like, I don't know what that actually means.
I don't think he does either. Either way, it sure as shit wasn't accomplished on any level.
Yeah. Like I said, it was terrible. I don't know. It was just...
But, I think it was terrible in a harmless way. Like, I wasn't watching it and I was not angry by any means. But then again, that movie doesn't need to exist because who gives a shit?
Yeah. Like...
So I'm not mad at it, but I also don't care.
Yeah. And that was the thing. I'm always going to be annoyed with it because I love the X-Men franchise regardless. But, like I said, it's... for the potential that it had. Especially where, like, they finally got Logan. It kind of had you where it's like, damn, maybe they might actually give you, like, one really good one. And it just never really happened.
No, I agree. But in a weird way, though, like, I feel like ordinarily I'd be angry in this situation because I'd be angry that they wasted such a good story that is Dark Phoenix. But I feel like they blew it so much, it doesn't waste it because they never did anything close to doing it right anyway. It's still out there. It's still in play to do.
But that's the thing, like...
If they were to, I mean. If they didn't burn it.
I mean, that's the thing. Anything can be done to do, but I'm not going to... Like, that's the thing. If anybody tells me that they're going to do the Dark Phoenix again, like, I'm not going to see it. Why? Like, but there's two of them that have been terrible. Why am I going to waste my money on a third? Like,
well, the counter argument for some people is, yeah, well, Disney's now making these.
And I was like, if Disney comes out with one, that's great. I might go see it, but I still haven't seen Ant-Man 2, and I really don't give a fuck about watching it.
Why?
I didn't enjoy Ant-Man 1.
I didn't enjoy Ant-Man 1 either, but Ant-Man 2 is good.
Like I said, the first one's not that hot.
But there are I could argue reasons why. Not even defending the movie, by the way, just with the not troubled, but maybe slightly tumultuous filming in the way that was with Edgar Wright dropping out, somebody having to take over in the 25th hour, that being a thing. Like this to me, the second one, tonally is fully realized. I'm not saying it's amazing, but I liked it.
It wasn't any of that. It was literally all forgettable.
Okay, I mean that's fair. I didn't look. Ant-Man is one of my least favorites.
Me and Taylor literally got into an argument because she forgot that we saw Ant-Man in the theater and we were going to rent it at a red box.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like when we saw 3 months before we were about to rent it. Yeah, it was.
I mean that's fair.
And I remember most movies. I remember the movie. I was just like, all right, this is whatever.
It's one of the relative few Marvel movies I haven't revisited and have no inclination to do so.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just not going to. It's not my and that's the thing. Marvel movies, you don't have to see all of them. I mean, you should if you want to get the entire story, but they're like the rest of the comics. You don't have to follow every fucking comic. You can just go and follow the ones that you like. Like I said, if you only want to see Cap, Iron Man, and Thor, and that's it, just watch those movies. Then watch the Avengers.
Yeah, it's like follow as many storylines as you want to.
Yeah,
and
Fox had the same thing because they could have done it with Dark Phoenix, where like I said, they broke it up into a couple of different movies. They had so many options, but I'm jumping back on that bitch because I'm still mad about it. I didn't understand how come they changed up characters for no real reason. Like Nightcrawler all of a sudden becoming ultra violent because old boy got killed. That was my son was a fan, and all of a sudden he just starts getting knives and stabbing everybody. But Nightcrawler is pretty much one of the few that tries to be a pacifist.
Well, here's the thing, though. I wrote a. This is gonna really undermine my perspective on this movie. But I was the only one in the theater, so I was watching, but I was also tweeting because I was so bored. And here's one of the things I tweeted actually, at Inquisitive Dick. Is that throughout the movie I just noticed it, and I tweeted out, you get a moment, and you get a moment, and you get a moment. Because everybody had some kind of, at some point, at least a little bit of, a signature moment. And I'm just like, oh, now you give a shit about these people? All these throwaway mutants you didn't really do much for before?
Well, they always have the signature moment in the movie, but it was just, the dude with the hair.
Oh, you mean the guy that fought with dreadlocks?
Yeah, it would have been different if they actually introduced him.
That's what I mean.
But, yeah.
We didn't get a name.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's
Red Lotus.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
That's what I just looked at, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought it was supposed to be Whiplash or something like that. But
it's Red Lotus, I believe.
Who was the girl that was the psychic that had the knives?
The really hot lady?
Yeah.
I think
that's
so.
subjective.
That's fair. I'm looking that up, actually. While we're talking about it real fast, the actor Ty Sheridan, who plays Cyclops, is a black hole of charisma. He has negative screen presence somehow.
Now, I will say this: he probably is the worst of the three Cyclopses. And that's including,
to me, there's no question.
And that's including the nameless one that was in X-Men: Wolverine's Origin.
Look, he seems like a nice enough dude, and yes, I fucking hate Ready Player One, but he has no screen presence.
Wait, that's that dude?
Yes.
Okay, I was trying to figure out.
That's him.
Know. I was like, I know that face from somewhere.
That's him. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That ain't it.
No.
And it's funny because Cyclops is one of my favorite fucking X-Men. I love Cyclops. So every time I kept seeing this movie, I was just like, dude, why
it's like I could feel my eyes glaze over.
He really was just boring.
It was truly a blank canvas performance. There was nothing there.
He was a bitch.
Yeah.
That's what made me mad. Cyclops was supposed to be fucking League of
You know what? To be honest with you,
what?
You know what else I thought? I also thought looking at them together, Jean and him together. You know what I thought at one point? I was just like, she would fucking break him. because he's like, he's not big, but also he's like the complete opposite of assertive. And she's just like, I got stuff going on. I'm just like, she would wreck him.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he has like any real confidence.
No.
Yeah, and like
she would just say like nice shirt, and he would go down a tailspin of self doubt.
Yeah, like
Celine, by the way, is that character.
Celine. That's what that was. All right.
Red Lotus is the dreadlock fighter.
Huh. But yeah, like it was. I said it before. I hated the fact they even fucking made Mystique a hero all of a sudden because it didn't make any fucking sense. And Jennifer Lawrence, I don't give a shit what anybody says. She acts terribly 90% of the time for me. Most of her movies are a fucking bore.
I can see that. But to your point though about making her, it's not only that she was a good character or anything like that. She was like the strong-minded, progressive one who was like the logical one, and it was weird, by the way, to see her and Nicholas Hoult thrust into we're the adult role model characters. When it felt like not long ago they were those characters.
Well, that's
I know
kind of what they were saying, because remember when they were talking about that when they were in the mansion, they said that we're the only two now.
Fair, yes, never mind. Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So then that's kind of the whole thing is with the X-Men they started. Now that part was fine for me because that's how the X-Men were the initial class started out and then they grew up and they started kind of teaching when they started to get other X-Men.
I was just looking through the wrong prism of an unearned moment, but to your point, yeah, they didn't mention that. Yeah. So disregard. I clearly have no valid opinion on this movie. Really. I seem to be watching a totally different movie.
You got to be paying attention, Chief.
Fuck that. This movie doesn't deserve your attention.
But yeah, it was just, it had so much that they could have done with this movie, and not even going to like what they could have done with sequels or other movies, just with this one on its own.
Sure.
Just because like they introduced Magneto for no real reason.
Living on a commune.
Yeah.
In a commune.
And, I was like, okay, that's fine. He's doing whatever. He, hung up his helmet. Then he gets the helmet back out. And he doesn't really do anything. Like, they had a bunch of characters just not do shit.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the movie, Jean goes away. You see the Phoenix in the sky. And that's when the movie's just over with. And I'm just like, I don't get it.
Well, the part of another reason they changed the ending is because they did test screenings for the previous ending, and this is the Marvel world we live in. The test audiences said, "Well, we wanted an ending where they all come back together and fight together." So that's how they arrived at the ending of all coming together to fight on a fucking train.
The thing is that could have been fine.
It could have been. I don't disagree.
Yeah, it was just. The train scene was okay, but it was okay. But like I said, when I have characters that are just doing things that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like Magneto, when the main Dabari, that's what the fucking aliens kept calling him. Well, what they called him in the movie. But when the main chick finally came and, she has half of the Phoenix powers or whatever, he picks up all the automatic rifles and like all the guns start shooting. But I'm like, my nigga. And I say that because this is how serious it is in my head in the movie. I'm like, why in the fuck are you wasting time with like pistols and shit? It's a fucking metal train and you're the master of magnetism. Just crush that bitch and send her flying.
Here's the thing. The only thing I could come up with for that is that they were like, it was a bookend moment because that shit happened in the first one.
It did.
That's the only thing I can come up with.
But the thing is,
I think they thought they were doing a clever wink, wink, nod, nod to it.
But see, it couldn't have been because they did it they actually did it in the scene earlier with, I can never remember the black dude that was, he was
Jones?
The second command. Sure.
That's the character name.
They didn't have no real names to my knowledge. I just say black dude that was the black dude that didn't have no name.
The dude from Garden State, yeah.
Yeah. I guess the Gardens, I've never seen it.
I don't. That's all I got. I know he's in it.
But that's how they killed him off. Because he was walking towards them, and then he just looked at him, and it just crushed around.
And by the way, it was a cool moment.
And I'm like,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was like, Chief, she got 4 of the cars. She coming at you at. Just crush that.
I know.
Bitch,
I like that. I like the thought process. Like, I like the idea that Magneto saw that. Even himself was like, huh, that actually worked. Anyway, on to a different strategy.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't understand it. I'm so fucking
Yeah.
confused.
The problem with that, the thing I struggle with more and more with some movies, but especially ones that like this, that are inconvenienced by their own rules, so they betray them all the time. The reason, like for example, I think Black Panther is so good, outside of a lot of reasons, is that there is such an internal logic to it. But then a movie like this, and by the way, that's a sign of great film, a great storyteller, is being beholden to rules you set and having internal logic, and things being earned and motivations being fair. This movie had none of that.
Now, I think the one thing though is that you have to take into account, which makes it even more impressive for Black Panther and even worse for Phoenix,
Sure.
is that since Black Panther's origin story, that's when they have to set all the lore and all the rules and stuff for their movie.
Yes.
But the thing is, though, you have to get people to buy into it.
But say that's easier said than done.
Yeah. So since they've already said it and the world's already bought into it, because you can see with the numbers,
Yeah.
they're just waiting on the next one. Whereas Dark
Yes.
Phoenix, they had stuff already set, and now it's like, well, shit, we didn't make enough money. It didn't work. We got to try something new. This didn't make enough money. We got to try something new.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about Marvel, but everything they do, it has extreme confidence in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
now,
they believe in it.
Now, it's not saying that they don't have, continuity or stuff doesn't change.
Yeah, whatever.
They've changed around, certain events and stuff. Certain characters were here and, and
But,
blah, blah, blah.
but by the
it's
way, like shit happens.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
mad
it's
at
like,
that.
it's one of those things where, you got to have to take it. It's like there's 22 fucking movies that you got to roll with the punches. Like at some point in time, they're going to be like, shit, well, we didn't know this person was, like I said, somebody dies. It's like, well, fuck. How are we going to play this off? All right, well, we'll just say it was this scene here, this scene. Well, did you add this? But we keep the story going, try to do minimal damage. Where Fox is just throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Well, yeah, and you know what? And honestly, though, the difference being in those two, of them happening, which is inevitable and fair enough, is that Marvel more than earned the benefit of the doubt. Fox the X-Men franchise, not at all. Like we are owed as viewers far more than we owe them.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I went to go see it just because I didn't have shit else to do, and I was gonna go see Godzilla, but I already missed the opening, so I was like, I don't want to miss the first 30 minutes to try to review it.
You know what? And my thought was, I already saw fucking 11 of these movies, 75% of which are bad. Fuck it, what's one more trash heap at this point? What's one more bit of garbage?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see something, and I was like, I don't want to see Men in Black International, and apparently most of America didn't either.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I didn't want to see Shaft 2. Why? Because fucking People Hernandez isn't even in it. That's all I care about in that first one.
I'm probably not going to go to the theaters to see it, but I'll get it on Redbox.
I'll watch it, but I'm not seeing it in the theater. No. I have no desire to see that movie.
Well,
to me,
maybe
you know what?
gives it like an edible or something, I might be able to like go through it. That's fun with it. But,
That's fair.
Yeah.
But you know what the difference is? I truly thought, and to me it feels like it would be, I truly thought Shaft 2 was a Netflix movie.
I can see that.
And I can see it being one. But I truly thought it was.
I can see that. I think it actually probably.
And I think it would have been better if it had been, frankly.
Nah. It's
Really?
It's the Samuel L. Jackson movie. He'll do fine. His movies do all right. Like, regardless. They might not be blockbusters, but he'll do it. He'll do enough numbers. He'll be fine.
Look, they'll make their money back. That's not a problem.
No. He's gonna make a profit. It might not be a huge profit, but
Okay.
he's gonna pull profit. Netflix, I think that'll be more one of the people like. He already knows who his target audience is because this Shaft, all the Shaft movies are all blaxploitation movies.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's getting. Like you're gonna go see Shaft because you know what you're watching for Shaft.
You're right. You know what? Save the Netflix movies for Will Smith.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because shit, fuck it. Since you brought it up,
Bright
Gemini
2,
Man. Oh, fuck Bright 2. Gemini Man looks terrible. I still don't get it.
It doesn't look good.
Like, and I've said this before. Will Smith is not a good modern actor at this point.
No.
Like
And I'm telling you, and I've told this to Marshall. He's become like the de facto defender of it because he thinks I'm shitting all over Will Smith. And I'm not. But he's not Denzel. However, let me tell you that Will Smith is doing everything in his power to not accept the roles he should be, which are the older man roles. Not old man, older man. And it's not a good look how hard he's trying to fight that off. And the reason he's getting such shitty scripts is A, because he's a fucking tinkerer, and he has a guy on staff who Will Smithizes his scripts And by the way, that is an inherently flawed system because Will Smith's not fun anymore. I'm not interested in what a Will Smith movie through the prism of whatever the fuck looks like because he's lost the plot. He's not Will Smith from 1996.
That's it. He's not Will Smith. Will Smith is still fun. He's just the fun dad. And that's all he needs to just be. Is just the fucking fun dad.
He's a fun internet personality more than he's a fun actor.
Now, that's the thing. I want Will Smith to do... Actually, no. I don't want him to fucking do any more movies. I want him to just do YouTube shit. Just have fun.
I'm
you
okay
made
with
your
that.
money. Enjoy yourself.
But
actually, he has a track with Logic, I think.
Is Logic
Yes.
annoying?
At times.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm still trying to get through his album, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
Oh God, what a title!
I will say, Icy. If you like blaxploitation movies, Icy is gonna be your jam because it sounds like an old pimp thing. So,
Okay.
yeah, I love it.
I'll give it a whirl.
And Gucci Mane's on it. And I love Gucci.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Will Smith. I think they have a track together. I heard it one day. I can't remember whether it was on this or it might have been Gold Link.
Okay.
But I get excited about Will Smith rapping. Like, to this day, Get Jiggy With It comes on. I'm singing that shit. I'm doing the dance. I know it.
Let me tell you, my perpetual summer theme is Summertime. That song's amazing.
Just saying.
It's amazing.
I can't think of really that many Will Smith rap songs. Now, Just the Two of Us come on. I don't give a shit. But,
I mean, we're all living in the Millennium.
yeah. Look, that was a great... I don't care. It gave me... I think Millennium actually gave me Getting Jiggy With It. So I love it.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, love his music. I'm more excited about that. If he jumps back into rapping, I can't wait. I'll pay money for it. He don't have to cuss.
Look, I'm not against either. And by the way, let me
And
specify
Bad Boys
something.
3.
Not-
I'm still excited
Oh,
about
hell
that.
yes.
I'm still excited
All
about that.
day, every day.
Because isn't this the first time Martin's acted in like the last few years? Like the last 10 or 12 years?
Well, he was in Beach Bum this year.
Never seen it.
That's
I ain't
the
heard of it.
that's a Matthew McConaughey movie.
Yeah.
He's in that. But for the most part, he's definitely been more on the Chris Tucker side towards acting lately.
Mm.
Although Chris Tucker had to have been in movies because he can only live his lifestyle for so long without being in movies. And now he's talking about doing another Rush Hour movie, which I can almost guarantee you is going to be fucking terrible.
I mean, if Jackie Chan's in it, I'll still watch it.
He's in it. He's going to be.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
And it's fine. I just don't think it's going to be good. I get bad vibes. But, to be more specific about the old man roles, really what I mean is dad roles. I think he's fighting that off tooth and nail everywhere possible.
Yeah.
And so what he's doing is he's getting all of the scripts that he used to star in 20 years ago. He's getting all the ones everybody else has rejected. So he's doing the Will Smith shit, but he's doing subpar movies.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it.
Bright is garbage.
Bright was
Garbage.
garbage. Focus was garbage.
Yeah, Focus had one good moment. That's it.
You have to tell me what it was because I don't remember it.
That was where they were in the owner's box watching the New Orleans Saints game, and he was teaching her how to grift. That was a fun little scene, but it was 5 minutes out of 2 hours.
Yeah. You know what? You're right because that's like one of the few scenes I actually
Yeah,
really
it
remember.
actually was like the few times it was cooking in that movie,
Yeah.
and it was good. I liked
I actually watched that twice on my honeymoon, and
it.
that's the only two things I remember.
That moment I think was the only decent moment in that movie. I didn't like it otherwise. I don't know why that movie exists.
What was the other one he put out? After Earth. Terrible.
It's pretty bad.
Shit. He wasn't in Independence Day too. Which
Nope.
was terrible.
Which, by the way, yeah, he chose Suicide Squad over that.
Suicide Squad. I never finished it. I fell asleep 20 minutes into it.
It's for the best.
So, yeah. Taylor says she liked it, so I'll give him a 3 on it. But, yeah, I fell asleep, so I don't know. And since he's not even going to be in Suicide Squad 2,
Nope.
yeah, I'm just like, but Idris Elba's going to be in it, so I'll watch it now.
I'm all about it. I love Idris Elba.
Yeah, it's funny because the Hobbs and Shaw movie,
Yeah.
I can give two fucks about, but it was like, Idris Elba's in it, he's going to be fighting folks, like, I'll watch it.
And he's basically playing Immortal.
Yeah, because they said it was something like superpowers and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, whatever, that could be fun.
Yeah, I was like, I like Idris Elba. Like, dude, fighting folks. It's funny.
I love the fact that Netflix is now producing a Fast and the Furious cartoon.
Are they really?
Yeah, and I'm just like, all the movies are cartoons. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the fun of it is that they get more and more cartoony as they go, and that's not a knock.
No.
But the idea of a cartoon almost feels redundant.
A little bit.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what the joke I posted on Facebook is like oh cool, a cartoon of a cartoon. And that's again not a knock. They are fun. Fucking The Rock kicked a missile in the last movie.
I didn't see the last.
It's so crazy.
They've gotten a bit too over the top for my liking. So.
Oh yeah, I mean before that it was they were driving from skyscraper to skyscraper.
Yeah, that was.
Did you know, by the way, that they have it in their contracts, like the big stars of these movies, of the Fast and Furious movies, like the stars have it in their contract where they can't lose a fight on film in these movies, which is why they always end in stalemates.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Because I know that there was.
Like The Rock, Statham, Vin Diesel.
Yeah, because there was somebody else that I remember initially had that. Like, they couldn't. They essentially made it in every movie they were in. They never lost a fight. And I can't remember who it was, but they initially started that whole.
Well, that's kind of like how Tom Cruise never dies in his movies.
Yeah, there's always a loophole.
Yeah,
like he died in Oblivion, but he was a clone, and then another clone came up. So
he also died. He died technically in that American whatever movie from like 3-4 years ago, where it was a true story from but he dies in that, but they never show it.
Yeah.
So like that's their workaround.
And then he died in. They changed the title, but it's what they changed it to now.
Live, Die, Repeat.
But
that didn't count. The gimmick is that he comes back every time.
Yeah, he came back. So.
By the way, I rewatched that movie the other day. It's so goddamn good.
It's not.
Oh, but no, you're anti-Cruise. Never mind.
No, I'm not.
It is great.
No.
Yes.
It's not. I said I prefer the manga.
Oh, I don't doubt that, and fair play.
Yeah.
And again, I have nothing to undo or overcome watching that. As a film, I just enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah, I was just like.
And Bill Paxton is amazing in it.
I did love Bill Paxton.
He's great in it.
I did. That was probably like the highlight of the movie.
R.I.P. Bill Paxton. That dude truly, not exaggerating, made everything he was in better. I love Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
That dude is just he never takes away. Always adds.
I'm just saying, just game over.
Game over, man.
Yeah. You got any recommendations or something?
Don't watch Swamp Thing since it got canceled after one episode.
Actually, no. Go watch Swamp Thing.
I've heard it's supposed to be good.
No, that's the thing. It is good.
I know. I just mean it's a bummer.
Yeah, go watch it because at least if you go watch it enough, that'll keep it alive long enough that it might get picked up somewhere else.
Fair enough. And if you do watch Swamp Thing, which means you have access to the DC shit, watch the other thing they do, whatever that TV show is.
Which one?
Brendan Fraser and
Doom Patrol.
Yes.
And
dude,
Doom
it's
Patrol,
fun.
Yeah. Like I said, all the DC shows are actually pretty decent.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's just that they have a lot of turmoil going on, and DC doesn't do well with a lot of the live action productions.
Yeah.
So,
and part of the problem is too that they do the animated really well, but most of the people already have seen them, so the on demand isn't a value add.
Yeah, and like I said, look, they made some sort of announcement, and they're doing something with Constantine soon. So,
and is it that they're absorbing, like the Constantine from NBC is playing that?
He's already been playing that.
I know, but that's continued, right?
Yeah, he's gonna keep going because he does the voice for the animated, and then he's also on the CW's Legend of Tomorrow.
That's really cool.
So,
I like that. It's a rare form of continuity.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was like they understand they have a fan base, and he sounds like what we think John Constantine should be. So it's like, well, fuck it, he's the image. Let's keep it going.
From what I understand, yeah, that he really did the part right and did justice to the character.
And like I said, it was a really great show. It got canceled way too fucking soon. I was waiting on that season 2. But yeah,
yeah. Do you have something?
Just started watching season 2 of Agrikezzo, the anime about the red panda that's essentially trying to live her life as a salary worker in Japan.
What the fuck? Sings, this is so niche, it's insane.
And whenever she's stressed out, she goes to sing death metal karaoke. And it is a great show. Season 1 was great. They're all like 15-minute episodes.
Here's my question. Do you need to be high to watch it, or do you feel high when you're watching it?
Neither.
Really?
That's like I'll tell you, if you actually sit down and watch it, it is one of those shows where if you understand the Japanese salary culture,
Yes.
then it hits you a lot different.
Okay.
But if you're just your average person, it's funny just because of the situations and it's stuff that you can actually relate to, being like a 25-year-old, and working a dead end job, and you're just like, well, I want something more, but your boss is terrible. Your friends just kind of run your life. Your mom's overbearing. It's one of those kind of situations.
So what you're saying is I'm being a cynical dick.
Yes.
Fair. No, that's a true first.
And it's another anime that actually is through Netflix called. I am mad. I cannot remember the title, but it is the one about the high school that they deal with gambling, and that's how they run everything.
Oh, interesting.
Let's see.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'll vamp for a second. I have seen the first episodes of 2 new series, one of which is City on a Hill on Showtime. Takes place in Boston in 1992. And it feels like they're trying to win the Emmy for most aggressively Boston show ever.
Okay. So they don't say R's and...
It's just like every kind of like... Every kind of like Boston crime film trope, they do it up. I mean, but like in a fairly over the top way. And also Kevin Bacon feels like he's in a totally different show from everybody else.
You know what?
Like he plays big in this.
Okay.
It's not great. But the last 5 minutes after, a 1 hour pilot, the last 5 minutes were intriguing enough to where I'll watch the next few at least, just see how it goes.
Okay.
But at times I was just like, fucking, this is so Boston. It's got little elements of everything. But the last 5 minutes are very intriguing. Other thing I watch is a new show on Cinemax called Jet, with 2 T's, J-E-T-T. The titular Jet is played by Carla Gugino, who I love to death. She's amazing. The show is not very good at all. Because what it's trying to do, like the quirky...
What is it about?
What?
What is it about?
That's a good question. I don't really know. It's about... I actually watched this one, too, unlike Dark Phoenix, where I was just tweeting like a dickhead. But it's basically... Woman gets out of jail. It's like trying to do Karen Cisco a little bit in its styling, because she was on the ABC show, way back when.
No.
Well, fair enough. She was in that show. Karen Cisco is the character from Out of Sight. It's in the Elmore Leonard books. That was a show. You look bored. I get it. I know. I like I'm trying to tell you as if like that's gonna. I'm like, oh yeah, oh Karen Cisco. Oh. Fair enough. Point is, it's that kind of movie, kind of like Get Shorty-ish, Out of Sight-ish,
okay,
where it's kind of a little stylish. She plays a woman who just got out of jail like 3 months ago. She was like a notorious criminal, really good at what she does. She's powerful, meaning strong, not like powerful. She's on the food pecking order, whatever. But the movie though tries to be kind of like quirky dialogue, like Pulp Fiction-y, like that, like a shitty copy of like Tarantino dialogue, which if you don't do it right, feels forced and not good. It's got a little bit of that. It's got a little bit of like quirky characters in Get Shorty, and it's trying to be really stylish. It's not a complete misfire, but a lot of it doesn't work for me. And they just throw you into the action, and I didn't give a shit about anyone in it. If it wasn't Carla Gugino, I wouldn't have given half a shit of what I already do, which is not much.
Well,
it's fine.
I probably won't be seeing it.
No, if you watch a Cinemax show, watch The Nick or watch Corey.
Okay.
Corey's really good.
I think I've heard a little bit about it.
It's made by a dude from Arkansas, so 2 thumbs up.
All right.
It's legit good. It's good.
Support local talent. Got to keep it out there.
Yeah.
That Netflix show is Kakugiri.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, season 1 was actually really good.
Gambling in high school?
It's one of those shows kind of like if you're into Game of Thrones because of the game, then you'll be into Kakugiri.
Meaning like the politics of it all?
Yeah, because that's kind of how this is. It's all gambling, but it's not the test your luck. It's I'm playing against the other person, psychological type of situation.
I like that.
Yeah,
I can get really behind that. I love the political game part of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So that I'm intrigued by.
Yeah, like I said, that's the reason why I quit watching for so long, because they stopped focusing on the game and it was all, sex and violence. It's like, okay, I get that, you're trying to keep viewers, but I was more interested in the game. I want to see what's going on.
Dude, in TV shows, I love scheming. Yeah. Give me the scheming.
Yeah, it's like I'd rather see that than a titty. Like I can see a titty at any point in time. Internet's at my fingertips.
Like, and by the way, like movies and TV shows nobody loads for titties. They are everywhere. Far more than dicks.
Dime a dozen. Free the nipple.
Hey, if you want dicks, go watch Oz.
Yeah. Oh, at a piece. But anyway.
Or that new show Euphoria. Apparently there are 31 dicks in the first episode.
Is that the one with Zendaya?
Mm-hmm. It premiered last night.
Oh, okay.
I watched part of it. You know what one of the opening lines is?
No.
It's cringy, man. That line. It's Zendaya doing, voiceover. And one of the earliest lines is I was born 3 days after 9/11.
Does that have some sort of context with it?
Kinda. Not a lot. As a line, though, it's pretty bad.
I always have to get stuff context first.
That's fair.
I mean, you can say that, but it's like, all right, you got to give me a reason why.
In the moment, it wasn't great. Even while I was watching it. I know I'm saying, I know I can take anything out of context, and what a stupid line. You're like, well, it's true to the character, so fair enough. But just as a line, here's the thing. I didn't go into that show thinking this will be a thing. And then it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what a weird bit of context.
See, I think that's one of the things, though. Everybody's going into something thinking about what it's going to be. I just go into a show and just, like, show me what the fuck you are.
No, and I'm usually good at that.
So that's where it's like, when they say that line, it's like, okay, you're born 3 days after 9/11. Why is that relevant?
Yeah.
And I said, now, if it comes up, all right. If it doesn't, like, all right, then what the fuck you bringing that up for?
Otherwise, if it doesn't, then that was awkward.
Yeah. It was like, all right, then I didn't need to know that shit, but all right, thank you.
I need to finish it, though. I'd only watched, like, the first 20, 30 minutes at the time until I fell asleep. I was tired. It's not the show. It was me.
Oh, excuse me. Well, I might give it a shot. I think we still got HBO Go, though.
Yeah.
Or HBO Now, whichever one we pay for.
Hey, if you do, watch Succession.
Is that the one with the rich folks?
Yeah. It's really good. It's like legit good. Here's the thing, though. The key is kind of like, like Parks and Rec, they're like season 3, it kicks in. That's when it gets good. It's not that. It takes 3.5 episodes. But I'm telling you, though, when it gets good, it gets exponentially better with each episode. It's the best show of last year. Scout's honor. Love it. New season starts in August.
I'll give it a shot.
It's very good.
If by episode 4 I'm not in it, I'm going to like, Brady, you're a goddamn liar.
Hey, you know what? Here's this. If it's not good by episode 4, ghost me.
It's going to be weird.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, it's like 7 months later, I'm like, oh, he must not have liked that.
Yeah. I was trying to think if I had any recommendations for music or anything else, but no.
I saw You'll Always Be My Maybe.
How'd you like it?
I liked it. It was funny. The fucking cameo they give away in the trailer is amazing and hilarious.
Yeah, old Keanu.
It's really funny. He's really funny.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing it. I really want to see it because he was in there.
I like the movie a lot, but his part though is so funny.
Let's see.
It's very, very funny.
Nope, I ain't got no new music. So.
Igor.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
I still haven't gone and sat down through all of it yet, but Earthquake is. I can't lie, that's my fucking jam. I love that fucking song.
Dude, it's the most. Quantifiably the most popular song.
And the video is fucking hilarious.
Yes, I think the album is great. There's no comparing it, to Flower Boy. It's a totally different animal, but it's unto itself. It's great.
Yeah, I like the fact he's finally kind of getting out there and doing some, random shit, just some new age type of stuff for himself.
Yeah, and in an interview he talked about when he's talking about Flower Boy with Gerard Carmichael. It's an hour-long interview they have on YouTube. It's really interesting, by the way. But he talks about how he wants to give up rapping.
Oh yeah,
he doesn't want to rap. That. And this entire album, there was no rapping on Igor.
Is there not?
Nope.
See, now you done told me that. Now I'm gonna be like, damn.
I know, but it is interesting though for somebody who I only knew to rap.
Well, no. I mean, damn, I didn't pick that up when
Oh,
I
okay.
listened to it. Not, yeah, damn, he's not. Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
you know, you
care
should
less.
if you can listen to it from A to Z in one when you're doing something maybe, but in one sitting, mind you, and it's really good.
All right. Like I said, I like Fireboy. I tell you, I don't care for his other projects. So
Oh, I don't
this is
either.
one
I
thing
know
where
Flower
it's
Boy. I think frankly is an all-time favorite album of mine. I think it's amazing.
it's
Igor is very good too.
that's the one where I was like, all right, let's see where you're going with that one.
I see. You know what? We talked about it. I thought he would regress and like kind of self-immolate a little, you know, because like, oh, you like that? Fuck you, and then cuts his nose to spite his face. This is another step forward.
Yeah, he's finally got out of that stupid kid shit.
He's matured quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got. 13 hours later.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if we had anything else. No, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bye, folks.
Thank you for listening.
Well, I'll let y'all in like another month.
2021, we're coming at you.
Woo! Big Willie style, bitch.
Love you.
Bye.